Tonight on Let It Rip.
If we go on strike, a lot of us ain't gonna be able to feed our families. $100 a week ain't no money. That's strike fund.
Anything could go possibly wrong with this scenario right now. Anything could go either way.
For the first time in a generation, UAW members tell their union leaders it's not good enough, rejecting an agreement with Fiat Chrysler by a huge margin. So will they keep working the assembly line or start walking the picket line? But first,
I hear screaming after that first gunshot, and then I looked out and I saw the people running, and I said to the teacher, we need to get out of here right now.
And yet another mass shooting in America, this time a community college in Oregon is shut up by a man whose motives are still a mystery. Tonight, the president is expressing frustration.
It cannot be this easy for somebody who wants to inflict harm on other people to get his or her hands on a gun.
Time to let it rip. On the panel tonight, he was a mild-mannered engineer until he was robbed at gunpoint. Since then, he's become a gun owner, a gun instructor, and a strong supporter of gun rights. Rick Ector is back. And so is Virg Bernero. He's been a state rep, a state senator, and is in his 10th year as mayor of Lansing. He believes the president is right and that tougher gun laws might help reduce the mass murders that continue across the country. And then there's the former Detroit chief of police, Ralph Godby, who believes that technology could provide a solution that both sides might support. And as always, you've got anchor reporter attorney Charlie Langton here to weigh in. Now, here is what President Obama said shortly after the shooting this afternoon.
Somehow this has become routine. The reporting is routine. My response here at this podium ends up being routine. The conversation in the aftermath of it, we've become numb to this. We talked about this after Columbine and Blacksburg, after Tucson, after Newtown, after Aurora, after Charleston. It cannot be this easy for somebody who wants to inflict harm on other people to get his or her hands on a gun.
And yet in this country, it is easy. Rick, we are here again. Now, your circumstances have changed. You now have a daughter going to the University of Michigan.
That is correct.
In her freshman year. And we have a shooting on the college campus, 10 innocent people dead. How then do you, as a responsible gun owner, keep your guns, but at the same time keep guns out of the hands of someone like the man who killed those 10 people today?
You know, I think if we take a look at the facts as they develop or surface in this particular case, and then actually do an analysis and determine, you know, what was in play, I suspect, like most other mass shootings we've seen thus far, obviously there was something wrong with this individual from a mental standpoint. There were stories that have surfaced on the internet about his rantings the previous night before, about how he needed to feel somewhat significant in his life. He felt he needed to go out in a blaze of glory. One of the things that we know about people who have these issues, who have no concerns about creating heinous acts of violence against their fellow man, is that no law, however you create it, however you enact it, is not going to make someone obey the law. More gun control. You know, it sickens me that already we probably haven't seen the blood dry on the pavement and people are already dancing in the blood of the victims calling for more gun control. That I find equally sickening.
I don't know if they're dancing, Mayor, but the point is that this massacre occurred in a gun-free zone, and there are some gun advocates who say that the answer is more guns. Arm the students, arm the teachers, give them a chance to defend themselves.
Well, in this one, I don't believe was a gun-free zone. It may be that there was nobody around with a gun. The guns have not made us safer. They will not make us safer. And no, we're not dancing in the blood. We're crying in the blood. But I'll tell you, I'm proud of my president tonight. He's exactly right on. No civilized country acts this way. We have more deaths from guns than any other civilized nation, so-called civilized. We can do better. We must do better. And my colleague here, my friend here, who talks about that this is a sick individual, of course it's a sick individual, but it's a sick society that has one killing after another at schools and colleges all over the country and does nothing differently. One definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing and expect different results, and we are doing the same thing, which is nothing. And it's unacceptable. How many people have to die before we do something to stop people like this from getting the guns? We all agree, yeah, boy, this guy shouldn't have had a gun. That guy shouldn't have had a gun. How did he get the gun? Too many people have too much easy access to guns. That's the issue.
No, too much easy access to guns. I mean, let's be serious now. From what we've seen thus far, from the story, the facts that have surfaced, this individual had a number of handguns. You look at a place like here, locally in Detroit, every handgun must be registered by law to the state through the law enforcement information network. Any transfers of handguns have to be properly recorded. We have no need whatsoever for more gun control.
We do not
and to correct one point that you made with regards to University School not being a gun-free zone, yeah, by statute it was not a gun-free zone. However, most universities stipulate to individuals who work there and who go to school there that they're subject to expulsion. So yes, it's a de facto gun-free zone.
Ralph Godley is a former police chief.
We do need some type of control, because I need a thumbprint to get on my iPhone. I need a key to get in my car and drive it. Yet the mechanism of a gun over hundreds of years has not changed. And the NRA will not let that agenda change. There's smart technology where the gun can be retrofitted to where the user is the only one that can use the gun. That's another way where you can stop somebody that has ill intentions from getting someone else's gun, i.e. Sandy Hook.
Why don't we address the issue which is obviously in play? We have a person with an obvious mental disorder, someone who has no qualms about committing unspeakable acts of violence. Why every time something bad happened, you want to blame the gun and by extension blame every law-abiding citizen who did not?
They're not blaming law-abiding citizens. Charlie,
Another problem here. Listen, it is difficult to keep a gun out of someone who wants to go do a stupid thing and shooting people. We need more cops on the streets. We need more of a police presence. Unfortunately, in Toronto and Canada, where they are very strict with their guns, there's a lot of cops around there. Maybe that is a deterrent to crime.
I think you're onto something, Charlie.
And that's legit.
And
that
schools
is a
are
legitimate
killing
way
grounds.
of gun
Bad
control
guys with
that
bad
no one
intentions.
should object to.
No one's going to go there. That local law enforcement agency, it took them, what, 10, 15 minutes to get there. You got a psychotic madman who's committing unspeakable acts of violence.
How fast they got there makes no difference.
Right.
They were still shot.
It doesn't.
So
we need a more
change
effective presence on that campus. Someone needs to be there.
But Rick, all that means is you get to a shooting faster if you have more cops.
Well,
you can't have a cop
die.
on every corner.
You get there faster, less people die. Yes.
Not necessarily.
You're telling me if there's armed people there
there are no white paper statements.
By the way,
when
Rick talks about focusing on the individual, every time you do try to focus on making sure that mentally ill don't get guns, or making sure that people who have threatened others, domestic abusers, don't get guns. The NRA is there. The NRA is there to, excuse me. The NRA is there to block those laws and weaken those laws. Even though they always talk about let's enforce the existing laws, they're trying to weaken the laws all across the country, and they've had a lot of success with that.
Let's talk about the current law. Currently, to get a law, someone who is obviously has been adjudicated as being mentally
But you don't
deficient.
you don't always have adjudication. That's the problem. That's the problem. No, it's not fine.
Other people need to do their job. We know that every time one of these negative incidents happens, someone knows something happened. Yeah, we knew this person was a problem.
You know what?
So maybe there's
domestic abusers had access to guns, and the NRA is fighting. That is the law.
More people have died in the United States of America from handguns than we've lost troops overseas in the war on terror.
And handguns are tightly regulated.
Rick, it's not the same level of urgency in the United States of America. If you go right across the water, less than 2 miles away to Ontario, Canada, they have less than 10 homicides a year and maybe 1 or 2 with a handgun. You go right across the water.
If we were losing 12,000 people a year like we do to handguns by some disease, look at how many people died of Ebola, and we had a national focus on it, national frenzy. And we're losing over 12,000 people a year to this disease called gun violence, and nothing is done. Nothing is done, and you want us to continue to do nothing. You and the NRA
Rick, nobody is taking your gun away. Rick, no one is taking your gun away. Your gun is not being taken away.
So what? Mental health.
Mental health. That is an issue.
All right. Every time you're talking about
all right,
gun
you should go through an exam every couple of years. Once you get your
everybody should go through.
Yeah, you especially. If you
no. Here's the here's
Okay.
gun control. If you were talking about equal protection under the law, don't segment the most law-abiding citizens who've jumped through all the hoops. You jump through all the hoops. You got all the I's. You never finished either.
You've got
then
more
you throw in
talk time
stuff that's
than
not even
anybody.
accurate.
No, that's not what they're doing.
We've done everything that's asked of us. And here on Fox,
You haven't.
every night we show where someone is attacked, someone's raped, someone's carjacked. By this new gun control, you're now anti-self-defense, and you're keeping us in the most dangerous communities to have a means of protecting ourselves.
Why can't we look at the root cause again?
But now
Look at the mental health component.
Mental health and technology as well.
Okay, so mental health means possibly a delay then. A delay. Once you apply, there needs to be a long delay so that you can be investigated for possible mental problems.
Rick and the NRA could never.
We all agree to that. We should all agree to that.
The Rick and the NRA could never support that. They need instant guns. And by the way, how about a universal background check? How about let me finish? How about a universal background check so that we close the loophole? There is a loophole.
There is no loophole.
Yeah, in private gun sales, there's absolutely gun sales.
And even in private gun sales, you still need a pistol purchase permit if you don't have a concealed pistol license.
It all works.
Same stuff you're talking about when you debated Jim McCoskey, and you said that everyone could get a concealed pistol license. And you also said that nobody effectively used the
Wait, calm down. Stop down.
Let's tell the truth. Here's the thing. Handguns are regulated.
But the truth
These
is,
private gun sales is rifles and shotguns.
You don't have to go through any more mental examinations.
Give everybody a mental health examination.
I agree with that. So
if you want to be a judge, get a mental health examination. You want to be a law enforcement officer, get a mental health examination.
Now you have to do that, right?
Examine everybody.
You got to do that.
Examine everybody.
All right, good. Then if you examine everybody, that means a delay.
Absolutely.
That means a delay for the purchase of handguns. That is no affront or assault on your right to bear arms. You still have the gun that you came here with. That's not being taken away.
Bad guys are going to ignore the law.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It would be beautiful if we could legislate, rainbows and heavy unicorns and everybody love each other. It's not going to happen. Bad guys do bad
Rick
things.
is a perfect representative. He's a perfect mouthpiece for the NRA.
You're a perfect mouthpiece for handgun international.
All right.
Same.
Nobody can hear anybody if you're talking over each other. We are still in our relative positions. Nothing has been solved. And sadly, as the president said, we sit here tonight, 10 more innocent people dead, and nothing will be done. Despite polls that show that the majority of Americans want some kind of gun control, it is never done. And I don't know why. I can't explain it, but it's not.
We got over
20,000 gun laws. It will not happen again.
Something's got to change. Until we've been reduced to slingshot.
Sadly,
let's take security on our schools and these other gun-free zones more seriously.
We need to do a lot more. That we're sure of. And we are all agreed in our support, certainly for the first responders who saved lives, who neutralized that killer, and for the paramedics who saved lives, and our sympathies tonight.
Praise God, our sympathies do go out, definitely.
Up next, Chrysler workers. They didn't just say no, they said hell no. So what happens now that we've rejected what their leaders call a good deal? We'll debate it all next. Stay with us.